Hey everyone, and welcome back to NerdVana Nexus. It's your boy Ren, captain of the Nerdy Seas. I've learned a little bit since my last upload, so this one will be a little different. We're going to experiment more, so I can bring you all some real deep dives. Let me know what you think. In this episode of Superpower Breakdown, we dive deep, like real deep, into the powers that fuel our favorite characters. Anime, comics, TV shows, books, games, you name it. If it's nerdy and has cool powers, we're on it. Today, we're not just waiting, we're taking a full-on plunge into the depths of one of the coolest, slickest, and most versatile superpowers out there, hydrokinesis. Yeah, the power to control and manipulate water, whether it's shaping colossal waves, casually strolling on water like it's a Tuesday, or turning your enemies into some soggy breadsticks. Hydrokinesis is seriously, low-key, one of the most underrated and adaptable abilities in all of fiction. So, what makes it so special? What are its hidden depths and darkest secrets? Let's dive in and find out. Alright, so first up, what exactly is hydrokinesis? On the surface, it's simple. Hydro means water, kinesis means movement. Bam, mind controls water. Pretty straightforward, right? But hold up, don't let that simplicity fool you for a second. Water isn't just H2O, my friends, in fiction. It's an absolute powerhouse. Symbolically, water is huge. It's life, it's chaos, it's emotion, it's adaptability. Think about it. The calm lake versus the raging tsunami. Hydrokinesis taps into all of that raw potential. And while, we're not seeing people part the Red Sea in real life, the sheer power of water, its ability to crush, to erode, to sustain life, to exist as liquid, solid, and gas, makes controlling it a massive deal. How do characters usually get these epic water powers? Sometimes they're born with it, like some X-Men mutants or benders in Avatar. Other times it's a divine blessing, a magical artifact, or even intense, almost spiritual training. Whatever the origin, you're talking about command over an element that can drown you, slice you, heal you, or even give you a pretty sweet ride on a wave. Talk about a utility belt of an element. From tiny, precise water whips to city-leveling tsunamis, hydrokinesis users can be surgical or just straight up overwhelmingly destructive. Offense, defense, healing, speedy travel, it's got it all. But like any good power, it ain't perfect, and it comes with some serious limitations, and we gotta talk about it. Okay, now for the fun part, the applications. What can these Aqua Masters actually do? At a basic level, a hydrokinetic might just be splashing folks, moving water around, maybe trapping someone in a water bubble. Standard stuff. Your entry-level water warrior. But on an advanced level, it gets wild. Like, how is that even possible? Let's break down this arsenal. On the offensive end, we're talking about high-pressure water jets that can cut through steel. Think Aqualad from Young Justice using his water bearers. Then you've got massive water blasts, like Kisame Hoshigaki from Naruto, just conjuring a freaking shark bomb out of nowhere. And don't forget trapping abilities, drowning foes, or even creating massive maelstroms. Now on the defensive side, maybe you need a shield, maybe an instant water wall, boom, even an ice barrier if you're skilled enough. Katara was a master at this, and mobility. Hydrokinesis can create water slides for quick escapes, surf on self-made waves, or even generate thick fog and mist for some serious stealth action. The utility and support aspect of hydrokinesis is really the unsung hero. Healing is a big aspect of many water users, like Katara. She can use water to mend wounds, sometimes even really grievous ones, by manipulating the body's own fluids or using special sacred water. Then there's the transportation aspect. Water walking, creating ice bridges, or even propelling boats forward. Some water users can even douse for water, or even purify contaminated water sources like Suicune from Pokemon. At the advanced level, it gets crazy, and I mean nuts. We have cryokinesis, often a natural extension of hydrokinesis. And we're not just talking about little ice cubes. We mean razor-sharp ice projectiles, massive glaciers, and even flash freezing opponents solid. Think about characters like Grey Fullbuster from Fairy Tail, or even Elsa. Even though her powers are more cryokinesis, the line can blur. Then we have hygrokinesis, Some advanced users of this can use water in its gaseous state, creating scalding hot steam attacks, thick concealing fogs, or even manipulating atmospheric moisture. Think Mei from Naruto. Among the darker side of hydrokinesis, we have hemokinesis. Yes, you heard that right. Hemokinesis, the control of blood. It gets pretty scary and pretty morally gray here, but by controlling the water within living beings, some hydrokinetics can control people like puppets. Avatar's Legend of Korra and The Last Airbender explored this with characters like Amon, Tarlok, and Hama, showing us just how horrifying this application can be. It's a game changer and honestly one of the scariest abilities out there. However, on the more positive side, as it were, you could use this to heal people, like by opening their bloodways and things like that. Moving away from that, we have water mimicry and constructs. We've seen users like Minghua from Korra who has no arms, however she creates water tendrils that function as limbs, fighting with insane fluidity. Seriously, her fight scenes? Chef's kiss. Others can create hard water constructs like swords, shields, or even full water armor. Some can even turn their bodies into water, making them super hard to hit, like Suigetsu from Naruto. And on the last of the advanced applications, we have dehydration or water extraction. Essentially, this is just pulling water out of someone or something. Brutal, efficient, and just plain mean. The sheer range is what makes hydrokinesis so incredible. From a gentle healing touch to literally puppeteering someone with their own blood. That is an insane spectrum, folks. But even with all that insane power, hydrokinesis isn't an automatic win button. It's got its downsides. It's kryptonite, if you will. First off, most obvious one, many hydrokinetics need a water source. No ocean, no lake, not even a small puddle nearby. Yeah, you might be cooked. Relying on maybe a bottle of water or just what you can pull from the air. Of course, true masters can pull water from humidity, plants, or even thin air, but that takes incredible precision and focus, and probably a good level of humidity. Let's be real, if you're in the middle of the Sahara, good luck, pal. Then there's the emotional aspect. For a lot of characters, their control over water is directly linked to their mental and emotional state. Water's deep, man, just like feelings. Too calm and they might not have sufficient stopping power. Too enraged or panicked and their control goes haywire, potentially hurting friends. We see this with Katara. Her grief often fueled her most powerful moments, but inner turmoil could also hinder her. Temperature is another pretty big one. If your opponent can flash freeze all of your water, you're stuck with a useless block of ice unless you can use cryokinesis. Conversely, extreme heat can evaporate your water supply before you can even launch an attack. Basically, don't bring a water gun to a desert fight against a flame guy who can turn your ammo into steam. Let's not forget, physical and mental strain. Controlling massive bodies of water like a tsunami or performing intricate feats like bloodbending clearly takes a toll on the user, often leaving them exhausted. And a lapse in concentration can mean losing control at a pivotal moment. Finally, specific counterpowers. Sure, fire can evaporate water, but think about electricity. Super effective if your opponent is standing in the water you just summoned. Earth powers can absorb it. Some powers might even nullify elemental control altogether, so it's not always smooth sailing. Alright, so who are the absolute legends? The top tier water manipulators who've made a splash across pop culture? Jeez, there are so many, but here are some of my personal standouts. Katara, from Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. She's the GOAT for many of us. We've watched her grow from a novice to an absolute master healer and a fierce warrior who can go toe-to-toe with Azula, someone who's grappled with the morality of bloodbending. Her versatility is simply unmatched. Then we have the man, the myth, the legend, Percy Jackson, son of Poseidon. This dude literally is water power. Hurricanes, tsunamis, any liquid, he can control it. He's a walking natural disaster and a testament to be a demigod. Like we mentioned before, Minghua from Legend of Korra. No arms, no problem. This water-bending assassin with her fluid water tendrils was one of the most creative and formidable fighters in the entire Avatar universe. Pure skill and stunning grace. Now we have Juvia Loxer from Fairy Tail. Her entire body is water, making her incredibly hard to damage, and her emotional connection to her powers, especially her love for Grey, leads to some truly overwhelming displays of water's utility. We have the Shark Man himself, Kisame Hoshigaki from Naruto. This dude's literally a shark who wields a shark sword named Samehara, and together they can create ginormous water domes, water sharks, just an all-around aquatic nightmare. You gotta love his style, man. Then there's Aquaman and Mera from the DC Comics. Royalty of Atlantis, their command over the oceans and aquatic life is legendary. While Aquaman may be a meme to some of us, Mera, on the other hand, is incredibly powerful and precise. She even forms some pretty solid water constructs. Now we have water type Pokemon. Where do I even start? Gyarados, Melodic, Greninja, Squirtle, Blastoise, Suicune. The list goes on. They can do everything. Water shurikens, beams of water, you name it, they can do it. And then finally, we got Aqualad from Young Justice. Those water bearers are just too cool, allowing him to create weapons and shields with incredible finesse, a true leader and a powerful hydrokinetic. And that's pretty much just scratching the surface. There are so many more, from Hydro Man at Marvel to countless other anime and game characters. Who'd I miss that you personally think is top tier? Alright, we have a new segment. I was doing some looking around and I wanted to make it more like a deep dive. So we're going to do something I call an elemental showdown. In which you put hydrokinesis against other elements. Some I've covered, some I will cover. So, how do you guys think hydrokinesis stacks up against other elements in typical elemental brawls? We have hydrokinesis versus the one I previously covered, pyrokinesis. It's pretty obvious water douses the flames. However, strong pyrokinetic can evaporate the water, turning it into steam. At this point, it's a real chess match about who can overwhelm who first. Now we have water versus earth. Earth can absorb water, create mud to trap opponents, or just be too solid to easily affect. But water also erodes earth over time, can find cracks and turn solid ground into treacherous mudslides. It's all about who has more finesse. To wrap up this little new segment, we have water versus air. This is interesting because both elements are very fluid and mobility focused. A powerful air user might be able to turn water attacks into typhoons and whirlpools, but a strong water user might be able to infiltrate the wind user's body and control them like a puppet. It all depends on who can land an attack on who first. I kinda wanted to make this little segment just to show that no power exists in a vacuum and that matchups are very important. I think despite the ranking and how people stack up powers in their head, if in the right situation and against a good matchup, I think any power could be good. So after all that, what's the final word on hydrokinesis? It may not always have the immediate boom factor like pyrokinesis, but in terms of sheer versatility, creativity, and adaptability, it's definitely one of the absolute top tiers in fiction. Personally, I still think it's a massively slept on. You've got devastating offense, incredible defense, life-saving healing and support, and so much flexibility. If you got the skill, the imagination, and the water source, you could literally do anything. If I had hydrokinesis, forget stealth missions, I'd be flooding every video game hideout from the get-go, sliding into boss fights on a self-made tsunami like a total anime badass. No more tedious fetch quests, just surprise, I brought the entire damn ocean to your doorstep. So let's rate this thing. On the NerdVana Nexus superpower breakdown scale of 1 to 5, I'm giving hydrokinesis a solid 4 out of 5. It's incredibly powerful, endlessly flexible, and let's be honest, water wins wars. And it keeps your houseplants alive, man, come on. That's a definite win in my book. But what do you guys think? Who's your favorite water wielder in all of fiction? Did Katara's blood-curdling bloodbending give you chills, or does Percy Jackson's command of the seas reign supreme? And do you agree with my 4 rating? Let me know. All your thoughts in the comments, of course. What superpower should we break down next? And I hope you enjoyed this deep dive. Make sure you splash that like button, subscribe for more nerdy breakdowns, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out. Until next time, stay hydrated, stay nerdy, and this is Ren, signing out.